Happy winter solstice. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit nervous. So I do seasonal rituals, and I thought today I would record one and do one with you for any of you that want to do this. And if you don't get to do it on this exact day, that's also okay. I would just say make sure you do it before the new moon, before the end of this year. So kind of like in the next few weeks. And it's going to be more potent within the next few days. So before Christmas for sure. Okay, you don't have to have this, but this is a nice warm cup of tea. That is my favorite thing to have when I do any ritual. And this ritual will take about 15 minutes. I do have a timekeeper, so I will check in with that, but it should take about 15 minutes. So you just want to make sure that you have about 15 minutes of time to complete the ritual. I'm going to go over everything you need. Cup of tea, optional. These things are optional as well. This is moon water. You can also just have some water. I like to give myself a little spritz at the end of a ritual. This is an antler rattle, homemade from a friend. I like to have some sort of sound that I can do a little energy with. I have my altar behind me, so some incense going. I have some stones there, but again, you don't need that as well. You do need a candle. So preferably a candle that will take a few hours to fully burn, okay? So you need a candle, and I'm just going to place that right here. You're going to need a candle. You're going to need 2 stones, okay? I'm actually going to come just a little bit closer to show you guys these. Yeah. So you're going to need a light colored stone. I'm using a moonstone, actually a moon-shaped moonstone, and then you want a dark colored stone. So I'm using black tourmaline. When I do post this, I'll give you other options for different stones that you can use. So kind of like any stone that is a darker colored stone and a lighter colored stone to honor the darkness and the light. Okay, so we'll put that there. A little bit of sage or herbs or something to burn. This is a friend gave me this from their garden, so I'm using this. It's special to me. Sometimes I use things from my own garden, so I just cut a little bit here. I'll need 2 pieces of paper and a pen or a pencil. Some essential oils. So I'm using my winter blend. You don't have to use this, obviously. Most of you probably don't have this, but some options are frankincense, myrrh, rosemary, some kind of mint, peppermint is really good too, and patchouli. So those can be some options to work with the winter solstice energy. And then my suggestion is also an oracle card deck. So I actually chose 3 decks. I'm going to pull a card from each deck. Super simple. If you just have 1 deck, great. If you don't have any decks, that's okay. You can still do the ritual. And you will need lighter. So I'm going to light this other candle because my girlfriend Darylyn made these candles, and I like to use things from other women I work with and other friends so I can bring that energy in too. I find it makes my rituals a little bit more special. So I'm just going to have that right there. You can kind of see it going. And I'll use that candle to like light other things. Okay. Oh, and last thing, again, you don't need to have this. I got this when I was in India. It is for ritual. It's for ceremony and ritual. And copper, it's for burning things. So I can burn things right in my home. I can burn things like anywhere. But you can just take your piece of paper outside and burn it at any time. But I'm going to burn it right here while I'm in ritual with you all, so you can see what that looks like. I've used it a lot. Yeah, they're great. Okay. So before we get into the ritual, I just want to talk a little bit about winter solstice And I did write this down, and I'm also I'll post all of this with the video too, so you have it and like the little handout for the ritual. And I have it here in case I need to look at it. Yeah, usually I don't feel very nervous about these things, but I'm feeling that today and I'm honoring that. Okay. So today, as I'm recording this, is solstice, is Yule. It is considered the longest, the darkest day of the year, the longest night of the year. And as of tomorrow morning, we are starting to bring the light back in. We are starting to welcome the light again. So for me, winter solstice is about honoring the darkness within us, honoring the darkness around. It is the dead of winter. It's the energy of the crone, the new moon, right? It's that time where we can draw inward. We can come into ourselves, into our bodies, into our homes, and be a little bit more interoceptive, connect into what it is we are truly desiring. It is the essential cycle of the sun and the moon. As the days continue to grow up until the equinox, where we have equal balance of light and dark, and then all the way into the solstice, the summer solstice, here in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, you're going to have it the opposite, where we have the longest day, and then we start to move into that waning, right? So right now, tomorrow we're going to be in the waxing phase of the year, and then waning phase of the year. Kind of like to look at it in that aspect. Okay, so the sun, which on this exact day is at minimal light, slowly bringing longer days. Winter is a time for deep nourishment, for rest, for stillness, for silence, for reflection, for contemplation, for all of these things that can really nourish us at a deep level, or nourish our souls, nourish our bodies, nourish our lives. And it is about surrendering as well, releasing and letting go. Yes, from the past year, I like to think of it as in that way. We're releasing and letting go from the past year, from the past season of fall, right? Fall is like preparation for winter. It's preparation for this time. Each season is like a preparation for the next season. And then you have these opportunities. Right now is one of those opportunities, this kind of like week during transition where we're slowly shifting. And I've been feeling it all week, slowly shifting into this light that's growing. We're slowly shifting into this new season. So what was the juice that came to me from the past season? What was the wisdom? What was the inspiration that came to me? And what am I releasing? Right? What is no longer serving me? What am I letting go of from that past season? So I can move into this new season, this new energy, this new beginning with a little more clarity, a little more focus, a little more presence. So winter is asking you, can you lean into your feminine energy more, regardless of if you resonate more with being masculine or feminine? We have both. We have light and dark, we have yin and yang, we have masculine and feminine, Ida and Pignala Nadi within us, regardless of if you consider yourself a male or female. So this time is to tap more into those feminine energies, which is more resting and being, and the less active energies of doing. So the to-do lists and the accomplishing things and the running around and the intense exercise or movements or the busyness, the hustle and bustle, which can happen during Christmas season. So I think that is probably why I love doing these rituals and ceremonies even more, because it's also a remembering for myself, and it's a reminder for myself. So even inviting moments, right? Maybe you don't have a whole day or multiple hours in the day, especially if you're like me as a busy mom, right now my daughter's napping and I'm like, okay, I have 30 minutes to do this. But I'm also going to settle into it and not rush myself and enjoy this process. And I do that every time she naps. I take about 30 or 45 minutes for myself to either, well, I meditate every single time regardless. And then sometimes I'll do some movement or some journaling or some practices with that. So today I'm going to do a ritual and then I'm going to do a meditation after. So can resting and being, so these feminine energies of receiving and resting, get just as much focus and presence from you as doing, as your to-do list, right? Sometimes in our culture, we put so much energy and focus into, oh, what did you do today? How much did you do today? Have you done all your things? But do we ever ask, what didn't you do today? How was resting? Were you sitting in silence? So winter is guiding us into these spaces, into these inquiries, into these questions. Winter is the chrysalis stage of the evolution of the butterfly. It's the time when the caterpillar is wrapped up quietly in the darkness of the cocoon. When the caterpillar is wrapped here too, it completely surrenders and releases itself and turns to mush. And this is the time where the energy of becoming, of transformation, of change comes in. That's the energy we're in right now. So to the outside world, it doesn't seem like a lot is happening in winter, right? There's not a lot of change. There's not a lot of growth. Right now we have a storm. Yeah, there's a storm happening, but that's different than babies being born and growth and all of these other things that are happening. So it is this time that we can bring it in. The deep, dark place where the quiet transformation of the caterpillar is happening, is evolving into the butterfly, the energy of silence, stillness, and pause. And like those moments after the inhale and exhale, right? There's those pauses in between. Before the change, before the growth, before the evolution. So right now, this is the same transformation that your spirit, your soul is going through, and all of nature. It is in the darkness, hidden deep inside, a powerful transformation is occurring. You are evolving. I think of my garlic as well, right? Like, yes, my body, but I'm thinking of my garlic that I planted in October. And right now, it looks like nothing is happening, but it's all happening in the darkness. All of it's happening underneath the soil. And that is with so much of what is happening, right? In all of nature and within ourselves. You are evolving into a whole new place in your life, the energy of becoming. All the experiences and lessons that you've learned over the past season and the past year are integrating into your energy, your body, your spirit, and into your life. And you are evolving and becoming more of your true, authentic self. So right now, your only work is to be like the caterpillar, not having to do all of the things. Create more time to be, to pause, to read, to find stillness, have a cup of tea, to do a ritual, to meditate if you meditate, go for a walk by yourself in nature. Or just wrap yourself all snug up in a blanket in your cocoon and rest and receive the magic that is all around you and within you. Okay. I'm going to pull cards. I'm going to pull from my deck first. I'm just going to pull one card from each deck. Obviously, unless an extra card comes out. This bottom one is, of course, I'm like, it keeps falling. It's the transformation card. Transformational. Way too many cards popping out. And I got the creative card. My girlfriend Emily. I love pulling. These are cards from people and friends I know, local friends I know. So I love pulling cards of women that I know. I don't know the other woman as well, but this one's a good friend. Okay, so I got my Goddess Guidance Oracle from Doreen Virtue. One of my favorite decks. I use it during every ritual. Ooh, there's a card. Of course, Kali. That was actually the card that I pulled on my ceremony in circle Thursday night. So I'm pulling another one. I got guiding children. The most important thing when you're pulling some cards for yourself is to listen to your intuition, read them yourself. Yeah, the perspective. I'm just going to have those all aside. The books are there to help you, but I try not to. I honestly don't really use them much at all anymore, and I definitely try not to rely on them. So I'm just taking in this energy, and I'm going to use it while I'm doing some journaling. So Kali is all about endings and beginnings. The old must be released so the new can enter, which is the energy we're in right now. Guiding children. You are good at helping, counseling, and healing children and others. Use your skills to help children right now. This is the energy I'm in right now as a mother, as even just me showing up today, sharing my gifts, feeling all of that energy within me, and then still showing up. And perspective, this one's beautiful. It looks like she has a world in her hand. So for me, that's kind of taking that bird's eye view and just bringing the perspective outward instead of being so fixated and focused on my small little life or my small little actions or these little things that can happen day to day that maybe irritate us or frustrate us. It's like taking that broader perspective and does it really matter in the whole scheme of things? And the transformation card is, she's covered in butterflies. It's all about the caterpillar and the butterfly. It's about releasing and letting go that which is no longer serving you as you are stepping into this new version of yourself and this new energy, which is when we transition and move into any new season. And the creative card, for me, this is my creativity. This is like my joy. This is where I get to be creative. So really embracing that space in myself. The creative card is also connected into our womb space and our sacral chakra, Swadhisthana. So like connecting into that space as I'm manifesting and creating this ritual with you all. Okay, so the first question, I'm going to get my 2 pieces of paper. Okay, 1 and 2. And the first question you want to do is, what do you want to leave behind with the past year or the past season? So what are you releasing and letting go of in 2024 or this past season of fall? So you can be more specific, or you can just, maybe something comes up from like the whole year. You're going to journal about that. The second one you are going to be journaling about, so that's the second piece of paper, is what are your hopes and wishes for the new year? What are you calling in, manifesting, and opening into? And so with the first one, you want to think about any limiting beliefs that you're holding on to. What are you ready to release and let go of? For me, what comes up is taking things personally and people pleasing. Those are the first 2 things that come up. So I'm going to do a little bit of journaling around that. And I feel like I might be frozen. Oh, okay, I didn't, maybe I was frozen, maybe not. Okay. So I'm going to do a little bit of journaling about that. Autumn was all about reflecting on the things you are ready to release from your life. Winter is all about releasing and getting ready for the growth of spring. Right? So each season is kind of preparing us for the next season. So what are the last things that you are shaking off, right? That last leaf that is falling. And then place that to the side. We won't need that anymore. And then for the second one is like, what are you already dreaming about? Okay, so been a dream that you've been exploring lately. What are you already dreaming about? What ideas are coming up for your life right now? And what are you being called towards? Okay, I'm just gonna time. So we take about a minute and a half for each one. Okay, and then start to journal about the second one. So what it is you are calling in, you're manifesting, you are opening to, your hopes, your wishes. I'm going to take my piece of paper and just put it over there, my first one. And I'm going to take my second one, what I'm calling in, and I'm going to put it, I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to take this candle and light it. So this is the other candle, the small one that will just burn out. I'm going to place it onto this piece of paper. Okay. Next, I'm going to get my essential oils. I'm going to roll some on my wrists. Again, this is my blend, but you can use any of those other ones I suggested. I'm going to take a moment to breathe them in. Maybe breathe it out through your mouth. I'm going to take 3 breaths like this. And I'm going to take that small bit of sage my girlfriend grew. On my my garden. Sorry, from her garden. I'm just going to place a few pieces on the candle. I'm going to place a few on the other candle. Don't need much. I'm going to take my rattle. Giving it a few rattles. Again, optional. Use a drum or anything else. Ooh, my rattled too aggressively, blew it out. And then next you're going to take your black stone in your left hand, your white stone in your right hand. Okay, our left is connected to the feminine, our right, the masculine, and that doing energy. And this is that being, receiving energy. You're going to focus on releasing what you wrote down in the left hand, the black stone. It will absorb the negative energy, your limiting beliefs, anything that is no longer serving you. Black tourmaline is really good for that. Repeat it in your mind 3 times. Okay, so you're going to close your hand, you're going to repeat it 3 times. We're going to do this together. Then we're going to focus on our white stone, what we're calling in. We're going to repeat it 3 times. So we'll close the hand and repeat it 3 times. I'm going to keep them both open until we start that. And then I'm going to repeat the Gayatri mantra. Okay, you can just listen to me repeating it. Or you can play it. You can have it on your Spotify or whatever you use, and you can play it on your Spotify. And then the final piece is we are going to burn that piece of paper and watch it release. So let's soften. Hands are still open. We'll take a cleansing breath. And gently settle into your body, rooting your sit bones into your seat, to the ground, and connecting into your breath. And then bringing your awareness into your left hand, your left arm. We're going to close that hand. And whatever it was you are releasing, repeating it 3 times in your mind. When you are finished that, you can open that hand and close your other hand, your right hand. What is it you are calling in? Your hopes, dreams, wishes. What are you opening to? Something else comes up while you're doing this. Something came up for me that's really important. So I'm going to write it down. Whenever you are finished that, and take your stones. So I'm placing the white one on the right side, the black one on the left. And then I'll leave this like this. Like you can move it. So I'll probably move it on my altar and just let that candle burn out. I'll do that actually right now. No, I'll do that after. And then, oh, before we burn, we're gonna repeat the Gayatri Mantra. So I just have those down there. And then I'm gonna place my hands over, right, sending that energy in. And I'll just say it first, and then I'm gonna repeat it. So it's Bhur Bhuva Swaha, Tat Savitu Varenyam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Dhyo Yo Na Prachodayat. And if this is Sanskrit, I have just learned this from my teachers, so I apologize if I'm pronouncing any of it wrong. Okay, it's one that I practice quite often, but again, this is something that I've just learned myself. Inhale. Exhale to breathe it out. Om Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Na Prachodayat. I like to just take a moment to thank the elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether. Thank the land I am on, spirits, guides, angels, energy. Thank everything that comes up for you. It doesn't have to be a particular way. And then sending it out to the universe. May it be so. May it be so. I'm going to take the last step. And then this is just going to burn. You can see it burning. I like to watch them burn. And then I'll open a window. As it burns there. I'm just going to do one Om to close this ritual. So you can either bring your hands onto your legs or an Anjali Mudra into your heart space. Take a cleansing breath and then inhale to Om. So inhale through your nose. Breathe it out, exhale. Inhale. Bowing head to heart, connecting qualities of the mind, the qualities of your hearts, love, compassion, forgiveness, gratitude, and acceptance. Knowing that you are whole and complete exactly as you are, honoring the love, light, and beauty, and darkness that resides within each one of us. Namaste. Happy winter solstice. Mwah.